Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth 9 weeks, chapter 12 review. And so this is going to be on statistics, and there's going to be page 1 and there's going to be a page 2. So this is the page 1 video. All right, I went ahead and filled in some of this vocabulary just to make it a little bit easier. The mean of a set of numbers can be found by defining the sum of all the numbers, then dividing the sum by the total amount of numbers in the data set. So essentially what this means is add them all up and divide by the total of numbers, like the total amount of numbers. So y'all are used to doing this. This is something y'all are very familiar with when it comes to test scores. So what is the median? The median, so while the mean is the average, the median is going to be the middle number. If there's an even amount of numbers in the data set, you must find the average of the two middle numbers. So if there's two numbers in the middle, just find the middle of those two. You subtract the minimum data value from the maximum data value to find the range. The number that occurs the most often is called the mode. The mode is the only measure of central tendency that can be found. The mode is the only measure of central tendency that can be more than one number. So you could have more than one number for the mode. You could have a bimodal set of data. You could have a trimodal. You could have no mode at all. You could have it's not applicable because it doesn't have one number that occurs more than once. And so that is, you not only can have more than one, but you don't have to have one. The mode is the only measure of central tendency that can be more than one number. But for a symmetric spread of data, the mean is the best measure of central tendency. So if it's pretty symmetric, if the mean and the median are very, very close, you're going to use the mean. But if it's skewed, you're going to be using the median. It's a better measure of central tendency because it's less affected by outliers. For a non-numerical set of data, the mode is going to be the best measure of central tendency. So like if you're looking at like starburst colors or like numbers of larges, smalls, extra larges that you order for a t-shirt order, you're going to look at the mode. So in this next set, it says solve for the measures of central tendency, then answer the following questions. All right, so Kate recorded the heights in centimeters of the sunflowers growing in her garden at her lake house on Lake Martin. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to put these in order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that from the beginning. That is going to be, make sure that you list all of these. 94 is in fact the smallest. And then you have 103, 103 again. And then we have 150. And we have 151. And then, so 150, 151. And then we have 170. 182, and 231. Make sure that you have the same set of data once you line it up from least to greatest. And we do. And so what we want to do is we want to find the mean. Well, what is the mean? The mean is all of them added up together. So we'd add all of these numbers together and we get 1,184. And we divide that by 8 because there are 8 different sunflowers that were measured. But let's double check. 94 plus 103 plus 103 plus 150. Always double check myself on this because it's easy to miss a number. Plus 170 plus 182 plus 231. That is in fact 1,184. And I divide that by 8 and that's going to give me a mean of 148. I believe that these are in centimeters. So that's the average sunflower height. What is the median? Let's go ahead and color code. I have 8 values, so 1, 2, 3, 4 will be on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be on the right. And so what's going to be the median? The median is going to be the middle of 150 and 151. So my median is going to be the average of 150 and 151, which is going to give me 150.5. So that was 150 plus 151 divided by 2, since that was going to be the average of those middle two. Which one occurred most often? What was our mode? Which sunflower height was the most occurred? 103 centimeters. There was only one in this set of data. And then what is my range? My range is going to give me my biggest sunflower height, which is 231, minus my smallest sunflower height, which of course is 94. What is 231 minus 94? That gives me a range of 137 centimeters of height of these sunflowers. Okay, but then it says that a baby sunflower sprouts, so it's a small one, standing only 34 centimeters tall. So it's the same set of data, but we're adding in a 34. So what's new? The 34 is new. It's the baby one. So still these previous 8 exist, but one of them has had a baby. 182, 231. So now I have 9 pieces of data. So my difference is I'm going to be dividing by 9. And so that's going to be 1184, just to save some time, plus 34 is going to give me 1218. So 1218 divided by 9 is going to give me an average of 135.3 repeating centimeters. So what did it do to my average? It brought it down. It is going to decrease my average from before. What is my median going to do? Well, what's interesting on the median is that now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have a true middle now. What's my median? My median is 150. So it's perfectly in the middle. So that actually decreases as well. Not a ton, but it does decrease as well. All right, and then what does the mode do? The mode is not impacted. It's still 103 centimeters. And then what does my range do? My range does change. It's going to be 231. Instead of minus 94, it's going to be minus 34. So what is 231 minus 34? It's going to be a much bigger range. It's going to give me a range of 197 centimeters. So, of course, that's going to increase. So I'm going to say that this stays the same. The arrows down mean that they decreased. The arrows up mean that they increased. All right, based off of the newest sunflower sprout, what's the distribution of the data? Because our mean is less than our median now, that our average was brought down, it is going to be skewed left. And so since it's skewed, we're going to be using the median. If we're looking at the best measure of central tendency for the height of these sunflowers, the median is going to be a better measure than the average because the average got brought down by the outlier. All right, so now we are given some data and we want to find the mean, median, mode, and range. So this is the number of miles run, which is not something I'm familiar with as I do not run at all. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add them all up. When you add all those up and you divide by, let's see, we want to find the mean of all of these. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add them all up and we're going to divide. So the mean of the miles run, 3.5 plus 4 plus 4.4 plus 3.9 plus 4.3 plus 4.1 plus 4.3 plus 4.5 plus 2.0 plus 5. And we're going to, that's 40. That's our mean. And we're going to divide by how many values do we have on this? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 40 divided by 10, that's going to give me a mean of 4. So that's going to be equal to 4 miles is my mean. What's my median? My median, I would need to put it in order from least to greatest. And so mine would be way less than their least, 2.0. Let me see, zoom in, make sure I'm crossing them out as I go. 2.0, 3.5, 3.9, 4.0. All these people are running, y'all. 4.3, 4.4, 4.5. Some of y'all are listening to this and you're like, Miss Hall, I run like 10 miles a day. I do not. That is not a thing for me. So we have 10 pieces of data. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I missing something? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm missing something. 2, 3.5, 3.9, 4, 4.1, 4.3. Oh, there's 2 4.3s. Some of these people are running together, y'all. Hold on. Or maybe not. 4.3. They just run the same amount of time. 4.3, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and then 5.0. That makes more sense. That's why it helps to cross it out as you go. There's our data. Okay, so then I have the 5 on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so both people are doing great. But there would be my median in between here. And so my median is going to be in between 4.1 and 4.3, which of course is going to be 4.2 miles. Okay, what's my mode? What occurs the most often? Well, it's the one I missed, y'all. It was the 4.3 miles was my mode. Maybe they ran together, maybe they didn't. And then 5 minus 2 is going to be my range. So I have a range of 3 miles, which is incredible here. So this is pretty symmetric simply because our median is 4.2 and our average is 4. That is not that different. That is pretty symmetric. It's pretty close to each other. Now, you do kind of have to look at how spread apart these are. The measure of central tendency you could use here is the mean, because that number of miles is not going to be that different. All right, but for this next problem, I'm going to go ahead and fill these pieces in. And so what we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill these in for you, since I know that y'all can do this from a dot plot if you need to. But the mean, you'd add them all up, and you'd get 53. You'd divide by 20, and that's going to give you 2.7 for my mean. Okay, what's our median? Our median, we'd find the middle. So you can color code if you need to. There's 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's going to be the median? It's going to be the middle of these two. What's the middle of 2 and 2? The middle of 2 and 2 is going to be 2. There's my median. What occurred the most often? Well, dot plots make it super easy to see. 2 doesn't really tell me what this data is about, but then it says what is the range. The range is going to be 8 minus 0, which is going to be a range of 8. So maybe this is miles, whatever it is. And so since we have 2.7 as opposed to 2, this is pretty symmetric, but if it had to be skewed a little bit, we would say slight skew to the right. Why? Because this number of miles or minutes or whatever it is that this is an outlier, so it's bringing it up just a slight amount. Not a ton, but it does have a slight skew. Since it has a slight skew, we would use it's pretty symmetric. You could use the mean or you can use the median. Those can be pretty close to each other. If it was super skewed, you'd want to use the median. All right, and so this last set of questions just ask you to solve for these measures of central tendency. So we have Brett having some different test scores. No. This is some golf scores, y'all. That's better. If he's getting a 68 in golf, a 64, 65, he is under par on some of these courses. And so what you would do is you'd add them all up and you would divide. So the first thing we're going to do is list them. So 62 is his lowest round, 64, 65. Brett is good at golf, y'all. And then there's 72. Okay, so you'd add them all up and divide by 5. When you do that, let's just double check. 62 plus 64, if we're calculating what he gets. And, you know, they do this whenever they calculate handicaps, too. They look at how you've done on the last amount of rounds that you've had for golf. And so we divide 331 by 5. And when we do that, we're going to get he has about a 66.2 average of number of shots. Our median is going to be 65 because we've got the 2 higher scores he got and the 2 impressive lower scores. His median was the 65. And then his mode, which one occurred most often, he doesn't have a mode, so that's not going to be applicable. So not applicable or none. And then what is his range? It's going to be 72 minus 62, so he has a range of 10. And so what happens if he goes out and he shoots a 62 on his 6th round? How does it affect each measure? Well, he got another 62. And so he goes out and he obviously is doing well. And he shoots a 62. That's incredible. We know that our mean should decrease. We know that our mode is going to actually become 62. That's new because he has 2 scores of 62. When you actually calculate it, that's going to be 331 plus 62 is going to give me 393. And I'm going to divide that by 6 now because I have 6 rounds of golf. That's going to give me a 65.5. Yes, it does decrease. The average does decrease a little bit. Not a ton, but it does decrease. What is my median now? Well, my median is going to be, I've got 1, 2, 3 lower scores, 1, 2, 3 higher scores. And so when I find the average of 64 and 65, that gives me a 64.5. So it does decrease, doesn't decrease a ton. That does bring it down a little bit. And what is my range going to do? My range on this problem is actually going to be the same because 72 minus 62, that new score, is still going to give me a range of 10 shots. All right, and I will make a new video for the next page.